Hey, Tom Rabbit! I hope you got this for your recording. Hey, YouTube out there. Tom Rabbit likes to record these. Hey, Tom Rabbit!
Do you actually think that you can demonstrate that God does not exist inductively?
Well, insofar as it provides like evidence against God, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that induction is capable of demonstrating that a supernatural, incorporeal consciousness does not exist. I mean, like I said, I do
Is
remember
it capable
talking to you
of
about
like
your
lowering the
argument.
probability that it exists, or no?
Yeah, I don't even look at it in terms
That's
of
it. That's a
probability.
category error what you just made. You can't apply probabilistic reasoning to what would be designated to be ultimate or not.
Exactly.
We weren't talking about anything ultimate, right? We just said a supernatural incorporeal being.
No,
So like you're the one who's off topic.
that's what we're referring to.
No, he said supernatural incorporeal being. Like you're
What
bringing
he's
in your own
referring
baggage.
to. Listen, hey Sasha, stop being dishonest. John
No,
is
you're the one being
referring to
dishonest,
God.
right?
Okay,
He
why are
clearly
you
said, and we can go
overtalking
back
me?
in the recording,
Why are you
an incorporeal
overtalking me?
supernatural
See,
being.
Yeah, come on,
You're
guys.
saying an ultimate
John
being.
was
So you're the one
talking
being
Hey,
about
dishonest.
Sasha, just let him
God.
finish, please.
Okay, John
Let's
was
have an adult
talking.
conversation.
John, were you talking about God?
Of course.
Okay.
But who cares what he's talking about, right?
I'm
referencing what he
correct
said.
as to what John. Is this what you atheists do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
but
responding
This
to
is
what
what
he
you
said,
guys do.
not
That's
to what he
all
didn't
you
say.
do is just
Just let
bicker
him
with
finish.
people. Okay.
Well, what's the problem with
let me
responding to
finish.
what you said and not
John
to what you
was
didn't say?
talking about God. Okay.
Yeah, I muted
Now,
you, Sasha.
I
Just
want to
please,
ask you a
just
simple
have a
question.
conversation.
If you're going to make any probabilistic reasoning, must there have to be something that is static along with some things that are dynamic in order to have any probabilistic reasoning?
There could be
No, I'm not asking
there could be
you what
probabilistic
could be.
reasoning with just
I'm not asking you
static
what
things.
could be.
Wait,
I
John,
didn't
could
ask
you
a
ask
could be
Darth to let
question.
me
Yeah,
finish?
hey, Darth, could you just let him finish and then you could respond?
He's not
Yeah,
answering my question.
No, I was answering your question. Could you just let me finish? Because you're being kind of rude right now.
No, you're being rude by not answering the question.
No, I was answering the question and you interrupted me like
okay,
1
we'll
second into
see.
my answer.
Go ahead. Yeah,
okay.
I'm used to you.
Yeah, so I don't see really an issue with saying that there could be probabilistic reasoning with there only being like static things or only dynamic
I didn't
things.
ask you what could be. Did I ask you what could be? What was maybe? Did I ask you that?
I thought that was your question.
No, wrong. Okay. Now, I asked you a question.
I think you used the word
can you have probabilistic reasoning if there is nothing that is, if you do not know what it is that is static and dynamic?
All right, let me just write it down so we're clear. So can you have probabilistic reasoning without knowing what it is that is static and dynamic? Is that the question?
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds like you're asking me what could be and what couldn't be, right? Like you have
a
modal term in the
No,
question.
I'm not talking about a maybe. Can there actually exist valid probabilistic reasoning if nothing is identifiable and defensibly static?
Well, that sounds like a different question, right? The question I have written down is, can you have probabilistic reasoning without knowing what it is that is static and dynamic?
It's not a different question. Stop with the bullshit.
Okay? Hey, but irrespective of whether it's the same question or not, could you possibly answer that, Sasha?
Can you have probabilistic reasoning that are valid if nothing is identifiably and defensibly static?
Well, so I'm not sure about the second question if I understand it, but I understand the first
question. It's the same question.
Okay, so I'll just answer the first one, the one that I have written down.
It's the same when you question.
Yeah, okay, so I'll just answer the one that I have written down, right? It's the same question, shouldn't be an issue.
It's the same question, answer it.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. Okay, so when you say without knowing what it is that is static and dynamic, do you mean like without knowing all the things that are static and dynamic, or without knowing
Can you make any
I'm just trying to clarify the question, and I think repeating the question will be helpful.
I'll wait till you're done bullshitting. This is what you do.
Well, I was just asking a clarifying question.
Yeah, you're a bullshitter. Okay, I'll repeat
Well, I
the
think I
question
was having
again.
like a decent
What you're
productive
doing
time with
is,
John Lee,
what
so
you're doing is you're running out the clock, okay, stalling, dodging, and delaying.
how is this
I'll
asking a
repeat
clarifying
the
question?
same question. No, what you're doing is what you've always done in the past when I've talked with you. This is what you do, okay? Now, can you have valid probabilistic reasoning if there is nothing that is identifiable or defensibly static?
Well, you wouldn't really say that probabilistic reasoning is valid.
Can
You'd
you
say it's
answer
cogent.
the question?
Well, I'm just saying you made a category error in your question
Can you
because you
answer
described
the
probabilistic
question?
reasoning as valid.
Can
Right, and
you answer
probabilistic
the
reasoning is going to be
question?
like cogent or
You see,
uncogent,
this is
not
what you
valid or
always do.
invalid.
This is what a
Like
scumbag
validity
you
and
are.
invalidity is
This is what
like
a.
saying
Are you
applied
listening to
to
me?
deductive arguments.
I'm not hearing an answer to the question. Is
I'm
there
just saying that you made a
anything?
category error in your
Is
question, so I
there
can't answer it.
anything that is static that does not change?
No, that's a completely different question. Come on.
Okay, hey Sasha, I'd like to hear why you think his question is a category. I don't think so, but
I
maybe
just
John,
explained it,
John,
but
why are you catering to him dodging? Sasha,
well,
is
he's
there
claiming
anything
your
that is
question's a
static
category
that is
error.
unchanging?
Derf, I'm doing the same thing you did, right? Which is
Is there
saying that
anything
when
that is
somebody asks me a
static that is
question, there
unchanging?
was a category
Darth,
error.
respect the
Is
moderator,
there
please.
anything that is static that is unchanging?
Well, but hold on, let me just write down that question.
Is
Is
there
there
anything
anything
that
that's
is
static
unchanging?
and unchanging? So, I just want to get clarity.
Is there anything that is static and unchanging?
Well, hold on, I just want to...
Is there anything that is
hold on.
static and
Darth, you
unchanging?
just need to like calm down, okay?
No,
So I'll
I'm
take
going to
a deep
keep on
breath.
repeating the question until you actually address the question instead of bullshitting.
Deep breaths, okay?
Is
so I'm just
there
gonna post
anything static
the
that is
first question that
unchanging?
Darth asked to me.
Is there anything that is
But
static
you need
and
to calm down, okay?
unchanging?
So this is the first question
Is
that
there
Darth asked me,
anything that is static or
and
unchanging?
this is the second question that Darth asked.
Is there anything
So
that is
if you,
static and
if
unchanging?
John, if you could just look in the chat, right? If you
Is
looked
there
at the first thing I
difficulty in
posted and the
saying
second
yes
thing
or
I
no to that
posted,
question?
Is
do you
there
think
anything that is static and unchanging?
those are the same question? Because they don't look like the same question to me.
Is there anything that is
Darth,
static
just
and
just
unchanging?
hold on a second. I'm asking another person. You can.
Let's assume they're not. Sasha.
Is there anything that is static and
is there
unchanging?
Darth, just hold on a second,
Oh my
right?
god, it's a yes or no.
Is there
Well, I
anything
just
that is
wanna
static
point
or
something out
unchanging?
before we move on. Right, I'm gonna answer your question, no problem. But I just want to
Would
ask
the
John Lee's
moderators
opinions on something,
please
right?
force
So,
him
John,
to
if you look at
answer
number
the
1 and number
question
2,
or
my
remove
questions,
him
right?
from
Yeah,
the
how about
stage?
Those are both from
Because
Darth,
he's
and we
full
can
of it.
see
let's
that in the
disregard.
recording.
Let's
Are
disregard
those the
what you
same
wrote.
question or no?
But
Is
Sasha,
there something
let's
that is static and
disregard what you wrote
unchanging?
down. Let's
But
not
we agree
debate
that
whether
those
it's
aren't the
the same
same
Okay,
question,
so
right?
he's not going to answer the
He just
question.
asked
Then
you
he
a
should be
simple
removed from
question.
the stage. He's
He
wasting our
just asked
time
I'm
by
sorry, John, I
filibustering.
can't hear you because Darth is like yelling over you.
I'm just asking,
The
could
answer
you
was it's not the
possibly
same
answer
question,
that
right?
question?
Why
It
do you
doesn't
people
matter if
put
it's the
up with
same one or
this?
not.
Okay,
Can you
so
answer? Can you answer his latest
well, which
question?
question should I
It
answer?
seems
Right? I was told that it's the same
the
question.
last one,
John
the very
and
last
Johnny,
one.
why do you put up with this?
Is there anything that's static and unchanging? Yeah, I think there
Johnny.
is.
Okay, no.
There you
What
go.
is it that is static, that is unchanging, and will not change?
Mathematical truths like 2 plus 2 is 4.
Okay, I'm talking about something that's concrete, not something that's an abstract.
By concrete, do you just mean it like
I'm
enters into
the
causal
reason
relation?
I'm asking you, is there anything that is concrete that's static so that you
Can you just explain the term
therefore,
concrete?
you know what? Fuck you. You are such an
Well,
asshole.
you're being crude.
You want to know
Seriously?
something, John and Johnny?
I just want to clarify that by concrete you mean
Why
something
do
that
you
doesn't
put up
engage in
with this?
causal relations, right?
Okay. Listen,
Sasha, you're just playing fucking games, man.
Objects don't stand
How is
Well, I'm
he
just
playing
asking a
games?
clarifying question, right?
No,
What's wrong with
yeah,
that?
it's a dodge of a question, which is what you always do.
By concrete,
I'm
do you just
asking,
mean it
is there,
engages in
okay,
causal
guys,
relations or
if
no?
you don't stop him, I'm just going to leave. You know what? This is what I don't like about you two. You put up with this kind of behavior.
Sasha,
okay?
if Darth accepts that is what, yeah.
He's just
So
trying to clarify. He's not dodging. He'd be dodging if he
Did you
wasn't
send them
answering. If
down,
he's just trying
Johnny?
to clarify, then he's just trying to get an understanding.
Wow.
Yeah, so
You really got under his skin, Sasha. I
Wait,
used cussing and everything.
Johnny, did you kick
I
Darth?
mean, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to like make anybody
Johnny,
mad.
did you?
He kicked him down to the audience. Baby.
Nice. Good for you, Johnny.
Yeah, I sent him. I sent him down. Look, here's my critique of that, and I'll be pithy about it. I do think Darth did ask you a simple question about what is static and unchanging. Sasha, you eventually named something, so you eventually did answer the question. I think you could have answered that early on, so it didn't get into this big hailstorm. However, when Darth started shouting, personally and attacking you, F you, this and that and the other, I'm like, look, I can't. I have to draw a line, and because he was sort of raging. Because he was raging like that, attacking you, I had to send his ass down. So I think both of you. Go ahead, John.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say. Now I was just trying to get you to answer his last question, and you did. But once you answered it, rather than proceed, he was starting to nibble about this is what you do, this and that, and I thought it was just unnecessary.
Yeah.
Just once you gave him the answer, why don't you just proceed with the conversation? And because he was complaining, I don't know why Johnny sent him down, but if that's the case,
You don't
then
know why?
I support that.
Yeah,
Well,
Johnny just told you why. He was being abusive.
Yeah, I mean, he was
yeah,
abusive.
That's why Johnny sent him
Definitely.
down.
Why is it like just?
Yeah, I support that.
Like I don't know why. Like Mac last night said, "Oh, Darth's like the best debater on this app, right?"
But
he asked Sasha about. Hang on, I'm still. If you don't mind, he asked Sasha, "No, 2 + 2 isn't concrete. What's concrete?" And Sasha said something like, "By concrete, do you mean X?" And he was like, "F you." I mean, Mac, do you really think that's the best debater on the app? Can't even clarify what he means by concrete?
Well, he did say that 2 + 2 is abstract.
Yeah, but Sasha was literally just saying, by concrete do you mean? Which is a completely reasonable question. Otherwise, you're talking past each other on definitions. Mac, do you think that's the best debater on the app that screams F you when someone asks for a clarification of a meaning?
Yes, because he wasn't answering the question forthrightly. Number one,
Bro.
number two, just because somebody is given to temper tantrums, like I am too, that doesn't make what we're saying incorrect.
Actually, I think
right. Like I was,
doesn't make
my brother in Christ.
I was railing.
Seriously, we're gonna white knight for someone that just completely loses his temper over the internet. Are we gonna seriously sit here like actual human beings and say that this is perfectly okay, he's within his right, just to completely scream at people and lose and swear like a drunkard and just lose his temper like that?
That's not what we said.
How you can even defend that? I don't understand. Over someone merely asking for clarification,
his argument,
just because you're so delusioned, and I'm talking about Darth here, so delusioned about people trolling you that now you think that everyone is a troll and everyone that merely doesn't immediately answer your question the exact way that you would expect them to is a troll.
Yeah, but
I can't even understand that.
Let me just say this, okay? I get a lot of people here who are impatient, right? Darth is actually just one of the people who are extremely impatient these days, but there are atheists as well, and so hopefully I would treat them
It's not even being impatient, John. It's a game.
But he's very impatient.
I wouldn't even say that. It's a game.
Oh my God.
It's a game to him.
Oh, shut up. How did Darth and Michael's conversation go? I didn't hear.
Darth actually rage quit because Michael was not accepting of God being personal.
Lol.
And that was the discussion.
Well, why should he? That's not the God he believes in.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying Darth literally rage quit. In that interaction, I would say it was Sasha that was over talking Darth. I actually had to warn Sasha.
Are you fucking serious?
John, I'm serious. Yeah.
If you
and then once Sasha complied and not overtalk Darth, then Darth began to abuse it and started getting into that interrogation mode. Once Sasha did not overtalk him, and then he was demanding answers, and we don't tolerate that as well. Right. So it was just the both sides. Sasha was overtalking, and Darth was getting into that interrogation.
Yeah, but was that argument going to go anywhere between Darth and Sasha? Look, I mean, I've been in Hades rooms before where someone like Jack and I, who don't get along, we call each other's names that are fairly mild, actually. Jack can get a little crazy, but sometimes I get sent down. But with what Darth and Sasha were doing, especially when it got into this is what you atheists always do, F you, there was nowhere to go from that. And besides that, Darth is a Christian.
What they
Yeah, but
do.
that's all on Darth's side.
wait,
right?
Johnny.
The last thing that happened that was Sasha asked a clarifying question, and Darth lost his mind. That's all on Darth. Like, Sasha's perfectly capable of carrying out a civil conversation.
Well, it just went
Johnny.
nowhere. It just went nowhere.
It was gonna go
do it in nowhere.
He decided
The
that
way it
instead of
seemed
just
to
trying
me,
to actually
Hades,
act like
is
an
that-
adult, he just decided to rage like a child.
No,
Then there's
way
nothing
I
else
see
that
it-
can really be said about that.
No, the way I see it, Haiti, is that this conversation actually happened before, just from what I could tell. And the clarifying question that Sasha was asking seemed to be something that was brought up before. And so, if I were a guessing person, I would say Sasha deliberately tried to ask a clarifying question, deliberately to get under Darth Dawkins' skin. That's just
but
my
that's his
impression.
problem. What would be an
Bro.
issue with just saying by concrete I mean X? What's the big deal about doing that? That is very normal thing to do in a debate.
I think Sasha should have answered he eventually answered the question. I think he should have done that at first. However, when Darth starts, when he starts going a bit nutsy and starts saying, "Well, this is all you do, F you," that's personal. That is a personal attack. And he's a Christian guy, so I'm going to hold him to a bit of a higher standard there, and I couldn't tolerate that anymore.
No,
I'm sorry. I've got to challenge Johnny. A little while ago, he said he holds Darth to a higher standard. Why?
He professes to be a Christian.
Why?
I
Does
think
that
Christians
make a
should not
difference? Shouldn't the standard be the same for everybody?
Well, again, if Sasha was doing that to Darth, yes, I would have probably removed him too. But the thing is, I don't know Sasha that well. Darth is sort of I guess you could say, a well-known superstar, perhaps here on Clubhouse, and a lot of people, I think, want to give him a lot of leeway because of who he is. Well, to me, I don't give a shit I don't give a shit about that. That doesn't matter to me. You're supposed to be a Christian. I'm going to hold people. Look, I've said this before too.
Being Christian.
Hold on a second. That's my prerogative.
That's my prerogative, from my point. You're diverting.
No, it's not.
My point is,
my prerogative.
Being Christian makes no difference. Everybody
to you, maybe not.
The same standard.
Yeah,
to you, maybe not.
So it sounds like both John and Johnny are on Darth's shit list. That's unfortunate.
Well, I've been there, but
maybe it's a good thing.
The thing is, Darth wants to try to tell me, hey, why do you do? He wants an explanation, and I told Darth in the back channel, I'm like, look, we cannot please everyone. We just cannot do it. I said there are some things that I found with Sasha that I think he should have addressed a little earlier without, I think it was a bit of a dodge, but he did answer the question. But that doesn't even matter to me. Look, the reason why I explained the reason why I sent him down. And then he wants me to try to justify it. I don't care. I explain why I sent it down, accept it or don't. It doesn't matter to me. That's how it is with me. And it's not acceptable to him. Okay. Doesn't have to be acceptable.
Did he block you?
I don't think he blocked me, but he's sort of questioning why I did this, that, and the other. And I'm like, look, man,
I'm
here's
pretty
the
sure
deal.
you're blocked, Johnny, but he could still come to the rooms you're on stage.
You are blocked? Uh-oh. Well, can you message him if you can't? If you can't message him, then you're blocked. He blocks you.
Yeah, I was messaging him. He was messaging me actually in the back channel, and I was responding. This is John's room, and he modded me. But whenever I mod, I try to keep in mind that, look, I don't want to do something totally contradictory to what I think John would do. He was on a tirade there a little bit, but then when he went into the personal F you this and all that, I said, I can't do it.
Did you catch that, Tom Rabbit? Hope you upload that to YouTube.